One of the coolest characters in the Invincible universe hasn't appeared in the show yet. Tech Jacket, a teenager wielding one of the most powerful weapons in existence, is incredibly strong, capable of holding his own against Viltrumites. Even Omni-Man was impressed by his abilities and recruited him to fight in the Viltrumite War. Despite his significant role in the Viltrumite War storyline, fans speculate that he might not appear in the show. Unlike most characters in the Invincible series, Tech Jacket originated from his own series, making it unclear whether Amazon will include him in the show. Nevertheless, Tech Jacket has a fascinating story, and in today's video, we'll explore his origins, powers, and the impact he had on Invincible. The superhero Tech Jacket's real name is Zach Thompson, an ordinary high school student from a struggling family that runs a small hardware store. One day, while walking home from school, Zach stumbled upon a crashed alien spaceship and discovered a dying alien inside. The alien was from Geldaria, a planet inhabited by an intelligent but physically weak species. The Geldarians were at war with another alien species known as the Kresh. A small crew of Geldarians had been tasked with seeking help from neighboring galaxies, but were ambushed by the Kresh near Earth. The Geldarians equipped their battle suits and engaged in combat, ultimately defeating their attackers at great cost. The crew suffered casualties and their ship was heavily damaged. With no other choice, they attempted to land on Earth but crash-landed instead. Because the Geldarians fiercely guard their advanced technology, their ship was set to self-destruct. Zach, who discovered the crash site, encountered the dying alien. The alien tried to warn Zach about the impending explosion, but Zach couldn't understand him. Not wanting to harm an innocent bystander, the alien transferred his battlesuit to Zach, enabling him to survive the explosion. Zach quickly realized he couldn't remove the suit no matter how hard he tried, and discovered he could communicate with it. The suit introduced itself as the Tech Jacket. Later that day, at his father's store, debt collectors arrived and assaulted Zach's father for failing to pay on time. Witnessing this, Zach unintentionally activated the suit's attack feature, saving his dad and scaring off the collectors. With his father's help, Zach began studying the suit more closely. They found that the suit eliminated all germs and bacteria from Zach's body, keeping him perpetually clean and healthy. Through further experimentation, they discovered the suit could release powerful energy blasts. While training in the forest, Zach accidentally destroys a tree, and when it fell on him, the suit fully activated, equipping him with its armor. At that exact moment, Zach was ambushed by 4 aliens wearing similar suits. Knocked unconscious, he was taken to the planet Geldaria. On their journey to the distant planet, the Geldarian ship was ambushed once again by the Kresh. Zach was restrained with chains to prevent his escape, but the chains broke during the battle. Realizing he couldn't return to Earth on his own, Zach decided to assist the Geldarians. He fought off the Kresh and effortlessly destroyed their forces, astonishing everyone, including himself. One of the Geldarians remarked that no being should possess such immense power. After the battle, Zach was brought before the Geldarian Emperor, who explained the origins of the Tech Jacket. The Geldarians, though physically weak, are an incredibly intelligent species. To compensate for their physical limitations, they created Tech Jackets, powerful suits granted to each Geldarian at birth and retained throughout their lives. This technology is strictly forbidden for use by other species, as the Geldarians fear it could be turned against them. Because Zach is human and naturally stronger than Geldarians, the Tech Jacket enhanced his strength and speed nearly 100-fold. The Emperor revealed that the model Zach wore was specifically designed for battle, which explained his overwhelming victory against the Kresh. Initially, the Emperor suspected Zach of killing the original wearer to obtain the suit, but after hearing Zach's story and verifying it with their records, he was declared innocent. Since Zach had helped them in battle, the Emperor decided to spare him. Recognizing Zach's potential, the Emperor requested his assistance in the war against the Kresh. Zach began training with Kanda, a seasoned Geldarian soldier. When the time came for battle, Zach was deployed to the moon of Geldaria, where he single-handedly overwhelmed the enemy forces, driving them back. For the next phase of the war, the Geldarians devised a bold plan using a teleportation device. The device only worked one way, making it impractical for most missions, until Zach arrived. Zach's role was to teleport onto a Kresh battleship, destroy it, and escape unharmed. Zach was teleported directly into a massive Kresh spaceship. Despite being heavily outnumbered, he annihilated the ship's forces with ease and returned to Geldaria. However, upon his return, he found the planet under assault. This is when Zach witnessed the Kresh's brutality firsthand as they mercilessly slaughtered civilians. Recognizing the dire situation, Zach ordered the other soldiers to retreat, knowing they weren't strong enough to survive the onslaught. During the battle, Zack began by taking out the enemy spaceships before focusing on their ground forces, who were attacking civilians. Consumed by rage, Zack relentlessly defeated the Kresh, unaware that the battle had ended and their forces had retreated. Following this decisive victory, the Emperor declared the long and brutal war with the Kresh finally over. Zack was hailed as a hero, celebrated as the warrior who ended the conflict. In gratitude, the Emperor allowed Zack to keep the tech jacket, making him the first non-Geldarian to wield the powerful suit. Escorted back to Earth, Zack returned home only to find his house empty, with no sign of his parents anywhere. Suddenly, a woman appeared and questioned what he was doing in an abandoned house. During their conversation, Zack learned that his parents had disappeared 6 months ago. That night, Zack stayed at his father's hardware store, which was also vacant. While he was asleep, he heard someone enter and discovered 2 debt collectors searching through the store. Suspecting they might have been involved in his parents' disappearance, Zack ambushes them and demands they take him to their leader. The collectors brought Zack to a skyscraper where he met a wealthy mob boss. The boss initially tried to intimidate Zack, threatening him and demanding to know where his parents were. However, Zack quickly turned the tables, attacking the boss and holding him over the edge of the building, threatening to throw him off. Realizing the mob boss was genuinely clueless about his parents' whereabouts and was searching for them himself, Zack reluctantly let him go. Terrified of Zack and his tech jacket, the mobster cleared Zack's father's debt, prompting Zack to leave. Frustrated and unsure of his next move, Zack flew into space to reflect on his situation. That's when a realization struck him. He remembered his grandfather's house. Flying there immediately, he found his father, who had dyed his hair blonde to avoid being recognized by the mob. Overcome with joy, his father embraced him and explained that after Zack disappeared, his parents had searched for him for days, but eventually went into hiding to protect themselves from the mob. Zack recounted his adventures in space, but their reunion was interrupted by a sudden explosion outside. The Kresh, seeking revenge for Zack's role in their defeat, had tracked him to Earth. They ambushed him, but Zack easily overpowered them again, destroying their forces and throwing their spaceship into the sun. This final act eradicated the last of the Kresh's fleet. Shortly after, Zack's mother arrived at the scene and learned of his return and his new role as the tech jacket. As the dust settled, the Geldarian ship arrived in Earth's orbit, having detected the Kresh's activity. While hovering near Earth, the ship was suddenly attacked by a monstrous space creature known as Scavengine. Zack teamed up with Kanda, his former ally, to take down the creature and rescue the people aboard the ship. The Geldarians had to remain on Earth for a few weeks to repair the ship. Before they departed, the Emperor expressed his gratitude to Zack by presenting him with a special gift, a small, advanced base situated in Earth's atmosphere. The base, accessible via a teleporter, allowed Zack to monitor extraterrestrial threats and respond swiftly. With his father helping to oversee operations from the base, Zack became an efficient superhero and Earth's protector against cosmic dangers. In fact, Zack's incredible power caught the attention of Omni-Man, who set out to recruit him. Alongside Alan the alien, Omni-Man searched for Tech Jacket and eventually discovered Zack's location through a neighbor near his grandfather's house. The neighbor informed them that Zack now operated from a space base. Flying into Earth's orbit, Omni-Man and Alan finally met the young hero. During their meeting, Zack explained his role to Alan, describing himself as more of a planetary guardian than a traditional superhero, focusing on massive, large-scale threats. He agreed to join their cause and boarded the Viltrumite War Coalition spaceship alongside other heroes, preparing to confront the Viltrumites. While traveling through space, their ship was ambushed by Conquest and 2 other Viltrumites, sparking a brutal battle. This was the infamous fight between Mark and Conquest, which we've covered in a previous video. As the battle raged, the Coalition's forces were overwhelmed when reinforcements arrived under Viltrumite command. The Coalition's forces were scattered, and Alan and Zack were forced to retreat. Thinking quickly, Zack devised a clever plan. He created a small, concealed box using his suit's technology to hide aboard the Viltrumite ship. They remained undetected until Space Racer launched an ambush on the ship, rescuing them. Zack was taken to Telescria, where he met Thetis, the leader of the Coalition. When Telescria was attacked by the Viltrumites, Zack fought valiantly alongside Alan to defend the planet. He directly confronted General Krieg and Anissa, marking the first time he had faced opponents capable of overwhelming his armor. Anissa, mistaking Zack for a Geldarian, attempted to crush his armor and even managed to damage it before being interrupted by Thetis. Reinforcements arrived in the form of Omni-Man, Invincible, and Oliver, turning the tide of the battle and forcing the Viltrumites to retreat to their home planet. Rallying their forces, Zack and the Coalition prepared for an assault on Viltrum itself. During the climactic battle, Zack used specialized toxin-laced projectiles, knowing that standard attacks would have little effect on Viltrumites. Despite their efforts, the Coalition's forces were no match for the Viltrumites' overwhelming power. Thrag, the strongest Viltrumite, single-handedly overpowered the Coalition. A massive explosion ultimately destroyed the planet Viltrum, rendering Zack unconscious. Space Racer and Alan managed to escape, dragging an unconscious Zack with them. The destruction of Viltrum marked the end of the war, but it came with a heavy price. The surviving Viltrumites decided to settle on Earth, with Mark and Nolan reluctantly agreeing to Thrag's demands to prevent further bloodshed. Following the war, Tech Jacket and the Coalition parted ways. Zack returned to Earth and resumed his role as its protector. However, his story was far from over, as new challenges and enemies awaited him in his ongoing journey as the Tech Jacket.